All right, guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to siphon fuel out of your car safely, not through the gas tank or the gas stem, but through the engine compartment. And so with the hood up here, we'll be accessing the quick release from the fuel line. And looking online, I could not find where the fuel pump relay was for the longest time, so I put in some hours of research and found out which relay in the fuse box was for the fuel pump. So we'll be safely siphoning out fuel. So in my case, I accidentally put a couple gallons of diesel in my tank. Happens to the best of us and the worst of us in my case too. But since I couldn't find out where that relay was, I couldn't figure out how to siphon it on my own. It seems like Mazda really wants you to bring your car in if you accidentally put some diesel in the gas tank. But I didn't want to pay for that. So if you're at a gas station or if you're at home, whatever the case, you can do it at a gas station if you have the right resources. But yeah, so we'll be accessing the quick release valve on the fuel line. And yeah, this isn't a perfect process. Do not attempt this at home unless you are trained or do what you want. But here we go. So with the hood of your Mazda popped, first thing you want to do is find this quick release for the fuel line. So you want to pop this off. I mean, it should kind of just snap off pretty easily. So there it is. Pull it all the way back. And once that's back, you can just pull it off, which we got a little gas left in the line here. That's okay. And then the last thing you want to do is get this bottom fuel line dirty. So take some aluminum foil or saran wrap, just put it around that. Keep that thing nice and clean for this whole process. Now, the only reason this thing had some fuel in it is because we just ran it. There's no diesel in here or anything. So the biggest issue I had with this whole process was finding out which one of these relays controls the fuel pump. There's hardly anything online. You can only really find the information for the relays in service manuals. You have the information for all the fuses in your manual, but not for the relays. So the fuel pump relay will be this one right here. So it's if you go on your chart, relay 16, R16. So just kind of wiggle it out a little bit and it should pop right out. Now I will say this is dangerous, and if you aren't a professional or experienced with cars, then do not attempt this at home because you're dealing with gasoline and electricity, and that's not typically a good combination. And gasoline is flammable. I'm not going to tell you where to locate these things, but let's just say if you don't know how to locate the fuse box, you probably shouldn't be attempting this anyways. So here on this relay that we removed, these two here correspond with the switch. So when you start up your car, this switch gets closed, bridges the gap, and sends electricity to power the fuel pump and run your car. So we can bypass this switch by using a wire. If we go to where that relay goes in, these two here correspond with that switch. So what you can do is just do a wire and you'll see a little spark. And you can see the fuel running. Now you can do this process with either a wire or a paper clip. And you just have to make sure that if you're using a funnel, it's not overflowing. Just control the flow and be careful the entire time. So I have clean gas in there right now. I just have a funnel and a tube hooked up to the funnel here, and we have it going into a approved gasoline container. If you have a way to hook this fitting into something a little better rather than the funnel, go ahead and do that. But we just happen to have these parts lying around that work out pretty well for this case. By no means pretty, but so I'm not going to keep running it to show you, but again, we got relay 16. Use this, it's C and D on the relay diagrams. So I don't know what any of these other relays are for. I could do some research, and if anybody has any questions, I could probably let you know. But this is for the fuel pump. And once you're done, just make sure you get this connected back in with the rest of the fuel lines securely, or else you're going to be spraying gasoline everywhere. Once you're done, you can pop that relay back in, close everything up, and that's how you can clear your fuel tank without having to drop it. It's not a perfect method, but gets the job done. It's better than siphoning out the gas from your tank, because the 4th generation Mazda 3s have a butterfly valve that make it very hard to get a hose back there to siphon out the gas. So this is probably the best method to get all the gas out of your tank without damaging the butterfly valve. And for any gas that you leak during the process, I recommend Dawn dish soap. This is not a paid advertisement, but we got quite a bit of gasoline on this new pavement, and it's doing a good job lifting it all up off the ground. So Dawn dish soap.